Welcome back to Nikki's Scrapbooking Adventures. It is July and it is one hot summer. So I thought it'd be fun to make our own paper fan. Now this is my mock-up, so it does not close all the way. See, it is a struggle, okay? I've learned from my mistake and I'm going to teach you how to make this paper fan. It's super fun. So the items that you're needing is 12 by 12 paper, and I would pick that paper, not the cardstock paper, the paper. This is the pattern I'm going to be using today to make my fun little fan. And then you're going to need 8.5 by 11 chipboard. Now, this can be the back of a paper pad. We're going to be doubling it up, so you could potentially triple it up if you wanted to on these parts of the fan. You're going to need a small hole punch. 1/16 of an inch works really well because what we're going to do is punch the hole for our wire to hold our fan together. Speaking about wire, you are going to need a wire and wire cutters, preferably the jewelry type, because you get this round tip plus this part. If you don't got that round tip, not a problem. Go ahead and just grab some pliers so that you can bend this point and make it flat instead of rounded here. You're going to need packing tape. You're going to need your trimmer and scissors and then some glue. I'm going to use this 3-in-1 advanced craft glue to make my project. To start, we're going to cover our chipboard on one side with our packing tape. This will give the chipboard some strength and it'll feel nicer to the touch when you are using your fan. So we are just going to kind of fake laminate. This is how I used to laminate before I had a laminator. Using the packing tape to cover an entire side of our piece. Now we don't want to actually laminate this because we want it to adhere. So using clear tape, packing tape is the easiest because it is thicker than normal tape. Line it up from edge to edge. It's so clear I can't even see it. So like I said, this is going to strengthen and then help with the comfortability of the fan. Now this is a great, easy project that you can do with your kids. So you can make the fan portion, this part right here, and then use white cardstock to have them draw an image on their fan so they can personalize it. So maybe put their name, do some flowers or something. Once you got a white fan, you can totally customize it. So I am just layering up the packing tape. I'll go ahead and get this done and then we will come back. Okay, so I've covered the one side. You can see it's super shiny and not the other. In addition, I cut the excess off with my nonstick scissors. They say they're nonstick, they're not very nonstick, but anyway. You want to cut the excess off instead of just folding it over because you want this part to be super easy to glue. I'm having to use the 3-in-1 because I think that's going to be the only thing that's going to adhere the paper to this glossiness. And otherwise, I'm going to try to go ahead and use the art glitter glue to adhere the cardboard to the cardboard. So after we've grabbed the packing tape, covered the one side, gonna go ahead and cut this entire sheet into 1/2-inch strips. Okay, 1/2-inch strips. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and I'll be back. Okay, I've cut my pieces into 1/2-inch strips. I'm going to go ahead and get about half of them on my table. Cardboard side up, shiny side down. Okay, that looks like it's about half, right? Let's check. Oh, close. 2 and then 1, 2. Perfect. Okay, so I'm now going to glue them together. So I'm going to grab my not quick dry. This is not the tacky glue. This is the art glitter glue. I don't recommend the Scotch tacky glue for this project because in my experience that pulls up too easy. But art glitter glue, Tombow Mono, those kinds of glues are what you want for this part of the project. Absolutely could use the 3-in-1 glue too. The 3-in-1 glue is much more expensive than the art glitter glue, so that's why I'm choosing to use the art glitter glue. And the art glitter glue is a lot less messy than the 3-in-1 glue. I'm gonna make sure to get the ends on either side really well adhered. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just lay cardboard to cardboard, not tape to tape, on these. Make sure they are all lined up nice and flush. Not a big deal if they're not perfectly flush. Definitely were not perfectly flush on my other project. But we are just making those spines. Now, I don't have an answer on how you can make this pretty. You probably could try to paint it or something. I am just going to leave it the way it is. It looks like this is starting to dry. Don't want that. Great project for popsicle sticks as well. I don't think you'd be able to use a paper punch, though, through a popsicle stick. And if you want to test to make sure that your paper punch can go through 2 layers of this, go ahead and just sacrifice one of these, take it, bend it in half, and punch it. That's kind of what I did to try to figure out what kind of paper punch I had to use. I first checked the crocodile, but then realized that that hole is way too big for the wire that I'm going to go ahead and use to adhere these together. So 1/8 of an inch, way too big. 1/16 of an inch though, perfect size. Perfect size. So I'm just going to go ahead and line these up just like that, press them together nice and taut. Did too many at a time the last time, so learn from my mistake. The glue started to dry. We don't want to do that. We want the glue to dry with the pieces together. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and fold our paper in half. So I think I want the distressed side here. Let's see. This looks like it's up and down this way. So I'm going to go ahead and fold so that the white part is showing. Again, this is super thin paper, and I'm doing that on purpose. Okay, this don't need the bone folder. I just want to make sure that this is adhered well, or put down well. Oh, before we do that, we need to punch our holes. So I'm going to grab my hole punch, and I'm going to take this and put it all the way to the back of my punch. That'll be my guide. And then I'm going to try to center it. I want this portion to be all the same. So by pushing it against the very back of this punch, I know for a fact that that distance is going to be the same on all of these. After I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and I'm just going to round these corners. This part doesn't need to be super precise, but when you're holding the fan, you're going to want rounded corners and not those sharp corners. Because I've got that plastic on there, I'm going to have to try to take it slow. And I'm just doing small chunks at a time. So I've got our thing here. We're going to take our wire. We're going to add these to our wire. And you're going to need 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you do more than 7, you won't be able to close your fan. So I've got my wire and I've got my pieces on there. I'm going to go ahead and take my wire cutter / shaper. I'm going to fold it down so that it's at a 90-degree angle. Then I'm going to take my tip here and I'm going to roll it in. See how that makes a nice little space there for our end to stop. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and clip this off. Right about there. That looks good. Then going to bend again, trying to make it so that they're facing the same direction. So bending here, using that round bit there to bend it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and trim, because I know I'm not gonna need this much. Probably to about there. And I'm going to curl it in. So that one's a lot bigger, and that's okay. Just like that. So now my pieces are not going to go anywhere. Boom, boom, boom. Not going anywhere. And if I spread them out, I can pretend to do that. Okay. Now we're going to take our paper that we folded in half earlier because I wanted to jump 5 bazillion steps. I'm going to go ahead and lay my pieces out. Make sure I know where I want them. Make sure I've centered it. Okay, so right now, the way I have this is that my fan is not going to open up to be 90 degrees, but it'll still open enough where I can get a good breeze. I'm going to take my pencil and we're going to draw our arc. Okay, pencil with the drawn arc. I'm going to connect my dots. Just by freehanding. Put my pieces back just to make sure everything looks good. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and draw the line here. And here. Yay! Now, because I drew those lines, I can make my arc. So I need to make a second arc, kind of following the first arc. Just like that. Yay! Freehanded it, so it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Now we're going to cut it out, keeping them both sides together. So I only have to do one cut. I'm going to go ahead and go on the outside edge here. So now, when I put them together, I'll have the same pattern on either side. Now for the gluing part. I think this part is probably the hardest out of all of it, because when you lay these down, you are stuck with that configuration. And you want to make sure that you've got at least that big of a gap at the bottom. Okay. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. I'm just going back and forth here. Now this glue has a longer dry time, so I'm okay with adding a whole bunch because I know I will be able to move it around for some time. So yes, I am adding a lot of glue. Okay. So there's that one, and there's this one. Want to make sure you get those two specifically on there right, because that's your edge. See how I can move it around still? That is important when you think about your glue choices. Okay. So that one's my middle one, so I have a lot of leg room now to move these back and forth, making sure there's enough gap between each of them. Okay, not enough gap here. Not enough gap there. That's enough gap, that's enough gap, that's enough gap, that's enough gap. That's good, that's good. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and add the top part. So I've got a whole bunch of glue here already, and it's not drying yet, but I need to add glue to each of these spines. I'm trying to cover the entire thing here, especially the edge. Feel like I need to add more glue, I'm just going to add more glue. Whatever. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add this. Now, since I already have these placed where I want them, I'm going to check both sides. Look, you can't even tell. I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder now. Not required, you can totally use your hands, but I want to go ahead and crease these in there. I am just a little nervous that because I use this 3-in-1 glue, my fan is not going to want to bend. Okay, I'm going to leave this for a little bit while it dries, because this is not going to be a quick dry type deal. And we shall bend it when we get back. Okay, so it's been a while. My stuff is dry, and it does seem pretty pliable. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this stick and fold it on top of that stick, allowing for the paper to just do its thing. Okay? We'll do the same thing for each one of these. Kind of force it to bend where your spine is, your stick is. Okay, give it a good push, because we want it to be as close to our spine or stick as possible, and you can move it back and forth. Okay, to get it to do its fun thing. And this is why I like fans. Okay. Next one. Just trying to get it to go back into shape. Now let's see if I can do it. There is our fun fan. Go back and forth, open, close, pretend you're royalty, and fan yourself. Isn't that fun? So, recommendation is to use 7 sticks of the 10 that you made. You could probably even go down to 5. Just make sure it's an odd number so that you have some even coverage around your 12 by 12 paper. You can add things at the bottom here, like these tassels would be super cute in the green, maybe. You can go ahead and make your hole closer to the end of your popsicle stick and all those fun things. So I hope you enjoyed this video of Off the Page, where we use scrapbooking paper to make things that are not scrapbooking related. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I am trying to get to 750 followers by the end of the year, so every click counts. Check out the playlist at the end of this video if you would like to see more Off the Page. Have a good one.